Hey everyone, this is a clip from a recent episode of the Men of Steel podcast where we talk about Superman and Superman adjacent topics. If you enjoy this clip, check out the podcast. You can find it at certainpov.com or wherever you get your shows. So looking at the first issue, everyone talks about the first page and like the very abbreviated introduction to Superman. And I find that one really interesting because as I have become more of a specifically Superman fan, it's interesting to see how much all adaptations really decide to like, no, we gotta show that whole thing. We gotta show the rocket leaving. Action Comics 1 has at least the rocket panel, even if it doesn't have more of the story. Like, it never starts in media res and then it's like, let's rewind and say something and go back to it all. Like, Man of Steel, the comic did that. Man of Steel, the movie did that. Like, every adaptation of Superman will have some kind of sequence that shows Krypton and the rocket and however they want to show it. But that's so iconic in such a way that you start that story that for this to be Morrison's definitive Superman story, it makes sense to do this quick version, but also to acknowledge that we all know it, like that we're all on board for how we're approaching this whole thing. I just find that a cool decision that both pays respect to all the previous iterations, but also is, a step into modernity and a step into the acknowledgement that we, like I said, know who Superman is.
I feel like it's also a little tongue-in-cheek. It is a very much like, we got some shit to do. You're going to be talking about mapping the sun within a page or two. So the fact that we are being presented this in such it's a stylistic flair to go so minimalist, but there's not much about this work that's minimalist otherwise, which is beautiful in a way. I don't know, that there's a sense of fun and whimsy and playing with the language of superhero comics that kind of goes throughout it. And I like that it gets a start in a way that kind of does catch your attention, but maybe not in like an overly serious way. We're not talking like Watchmen or something here.
Right.
We don't have to do the Batman thing where it's like they kill his parents at the beginning of every single Batman movie. Just in case you didn't get it the first time.
Well, actually, most Batman content usually picks up with Batman existing and then us getting a flashback. And that's, I think, the interesting difference between the two. Like, Superman content tends to start with, like, no, we're gonna show the rocket, and however we handle it, we're gonna at least show that, like, that rocket flying, and that's symbolizing it, and then we'll cut to the future and like pick up from there.
It's going along with the tongue-in-cheek thing. It was also, to me, such Morrison likes to be a little anti-establishment, and at the time, remember, we were doing, like, Ultimate Marvel had come out and was redoing so many origin stories, which was great, but at the same time, there were so many, like, year one type stories, secret origin type stories that were going back and truly expanding origins that had taken 10 or 15 pages and turning it into a 6-issue, 7-issue, 12-issue epic. Ultimate Spider-Man, which I enjoyed, certainly, but I mean, it took what Stan Lee and Steve Ditko did in 15 pages, that emotional journey, and extended it to 4 or 5 issues, and then spent another couple issues saying, oh, and here's the Green Goblin. To go completely, that was the trend now. That was the absolute trend. You needed 3 issues just to introduce your character before you established a status quo, and what do all their powers do, and all this jazz, especially, like, and that's a model that continued on to some of the TV shows later, where it's like, well, he's not going to really be Daredevil until after 10 episodes. Like, oh, okay. But here's Morrison, just like, boom, boom, boom. Took us 9 words. We're here. And it also...
An economy of storytelling.
Yeah, it's the economy of storytelling. It again...
The opposite of Bendis.
I was going to say it. It establishes right away that tone I was talking about of fairy tale and myth, because it's distilling it down to those emotional beats, those concept beats, and then also it's preventing it initially from being married to any one canon. It's not telling you, like, okay, so we're going with Superman Birthright, which says that, Jor-El did this, and Lara did this, and that's how the rocket... Or it's like, we're going with the Silver Age, which means that Lara was an astronaut, and this stuff happened. And it's like, no, it's just, look, parents were desperate. Planet was blowing up. Last hope. The nicest people in the world found him. We're here.
Remember, if you like the clip, after you're done liking and subscribing, check out certainpov.com, where you can find more episodes of the show, as well as a ton of other great shows.